CERN.
No. I mean, I'm the only one who is not critical of CERN on the planet. As long as CERN is following the rules of science. But CERN is about to destroy the credibility of science for the future, even if the planet survives,
Yes.
as everyone hopes, of course.
I agree. I mean, I think what is seen a bit wrong here, and when you say the critics movement is against the CERN, is that most of the critics, I would say maybe all of the critics I ever met or talked to or have seen or listened to or read, they are in a way fans of the CERN. They are people
majority,
interested in science.
yes, exactly, yes.
They're people interested in understanding new things, in getting forward humankind.
Yeah.
So
and CERN could tell the young people how beautiful it is to discuss these questions,
yes.
so that they could learn that science is based on dialogue and on mutual trust.
Yes. That brings me to the next question, and it's really that I have talked to a few people in person or over the internet that actually have to do with the CERN, work at the CERN or work at the RIC in the US, and mostly I hear this position: are you a particle scientist? No. So what do you want? Why discuss it with me? We take care. It's a bit like a doctor, and you go and you say, yeah, but are you sure I need this medicament? I give you a list and I know best. Now this attitude is something that I personally find makes me afraid.
Yeah. It presupposes that there are different levels of specialists, and some of them are able to talk to critics, others are not, and they can excuse themselves, but then there should be others who are able to communicate.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, in a way, if at the CERN they would only like to find the beginning of the universe and things like that, where we come from, these are also beautiful and big questions. So if that is the case, if that's the only reason for doing the LHC, so why not let people participate? This is a beautiful event.
Right.
I mean,
why
say no? You don't ask questions.
Exactly.
You don't get interested.
It's a patronizing attitude.
Yes.
Right. Yes. And science, of course, this is not the essence. That's not reconcilable with science, because science is when you don't know what the truth is. You have to be very, very patient and very humble. And a science that is not humble proves that something is wrong with it. It's like it being infected by a psychological disease, you see. It's a psychiatric symptom.
I mean, my hero of scientists, apart you, of course, is Einstein.
Of course.
If you look at his face, everybody likes him.
Yeah.
They like him so much that Scientology likes him, and posted that I don't like so much. But I mean, he looks like a humble person.
Yeah, he was honest. And
honest. And he has this humanity.
And he knew that every young person has the same capabilities as he had.
Yes. So it would be nice to see CERN management and CERN employees and these particle physicists have the same kind of Einstein look and feel.
Yeah.
You know, the kind of a bit forgetful scientist with a bit of weird hair, which is a bit like you, I must like it.
I'm old enough.
Which you like, which you kind of trust that he's like a child. He's looking at things, but he's not a dangerous child.
Right, yes. Even though what he found proved dangerous in the long run, and he was very much. His whole life fell down when the bomb had been dropped.
Yes. That is true. That is, I think, a big problem always. This might also be a problem at the CERN. I read about even a patent being made for using black holes as a military weapon. If that can be done one day, but already that proves that some people in the military maybe have the idea to use this, if possible, or at least look at it, right?
Science should be under the control of medicine in the long run. That's one of the Hippocratic oath. There are scientists called medical people, and they have the Hippocratic oath. And there must be a Hippocratic oath for the whole field of science, of course, eventually.
Yes.
Because humanity, the Earth is so small that it is necessary to have a common ethics eventually.
I think so too.
And maybe this is an occasion that everyone realizes that it is possible to be as kind as science can be.
Yes.
And CERN has given this present of the internet, as we already said.
Yeah.
So science is something like the good uncle of everyone on the planet.
Yeah. Yes. That is the way I would like to see it, and that's the way I find science exciting.
Yeah, and CERN is the good uncle of the planet.
Yeah.
And they would destroy this role. They would lose all credit with the majority of young people on the planet. Why risk that?
Yes. I mean, I think already in those 2 years, this kind of, I find it personally a bit arrogant behavior of the CERN, just do not look, not listen, not meet, not talk to critics, with a few exceptions. I think you have been invited at the CERN.
No, I was allowed to get an audience.
To get an audience,
yeah.
Right? Not so long ago. When was that, Professor Roessler?
Last January, 2 months ago.
Maybe can you give us some impression how this is? I have never been inside the CERN, and how are people there? How is the feeling there? How is the mood?
No, it's wonderful. I spent a few hours in the cafeteria waiting for a young person who had invited me to discuss with him. He didn't come. He later excused himself. But the atmosphere is wonderful. It's like University Mensa of Tübingen, 100 times bigger. And the spirit is great, and everything is nice.
Did you see in maybe 1 or 2 pairs of eyes sprinkle like I recognize you?
No.
No. So you didn't feel you were known there?
Oh, by no means. No. I was completely anonymous. It felt very nice, very good, and people who are eating are always in a good mood, anyhow. And they just had nice discussions, and so the spirit was a Max Planck spirit, so to speak.
When I first got interested as a journalist and with Nobel Publishing in the CERN, I remember that you mentioned that it would be better to construct the CERN on the moon.